Good. How are
I'm
you doing?
great.
That's great. That's great. Welcome to Reel In Films. We're gonna go ahead and talk about uh, August 22. A great film. I really enjoyed it. It was something very different, and I gotta say that at first, when you see the film, you think that one is gonna go through a very linear love story, but it went more as a character development in the end,
Mhm.
um, and it's amazing. So I understand in this case that Ali, you play as Cal in the
Yes.
film,
Yeah.
and Sophia, you are the director
Yeah,
from
I'm the
of the film as
Yes.
mhm.
well. If I'm not mistaken, Ali, you wrote the film as well.
That's right. Yeah, I did.
So wanted to ask, as an initial question, how did it feel to work with each other? You being the writer and Sophia being the director.
Oh, I mean, Soph and I have been work wives since we were babies and graduated college. And I was working on a web series, and actually, Sophia is also a beautiful actress. And I convinced her to be in my web series. As I was doing the web series, I was writing this film, and I kind of really wanted to focus on acting in it because it's a really personal story to me, and I didn't feel like I wanted to put all my energy into the acting after I'd written it. So I brought on my best friend, who speaks my language, and who did a beautiful job kind of understanding the vision for the film and bringing it to life together with our amazing producer Mary Elizabeth Munda.
How about yourself, Sophie? What stories can you tell working with Ali?
Well, it's interesting because the other thing that I directed before the feature was this short that was like a magical realism, like black and white experimental thing. And so then I pivoted completely into a more naturalistic thing with Ali's script, which when she sent me the script, it was initially like, "Hey, what do you think of this
Mm-hmm.
script?" Um, and then after I read it and we sat down for coffee, I was like, I want to help you make this. And I'm not sure what role I'm going to play in that, but I think this is something special and I think that it deserves to be told. And then here I am in the director's seat,
Yeah.
um, which was like, you know, maybe one of the scariest decisions I've made to just decide to direct a feature after she asked me. But, I think although it was a huge pivot from my short, I think it's a story that it resonated with me so much. I was 24 at the time that I read it. Um, I had just gone through my own August at 22, so I knew exactly what the story was. So it just was like a really nice, um, like stepping stone into doing a feature. And I'm ready for the next projects now. But yeah, Ali really helped me cultivate like the more naturalistic voice.
Okay, so this question is for Ali. So what inspired you to write August at 22?
Well, I guess I'll just be like slightly coy and say my own misadventures of my youth. Leave it at that.
Okay. Okay. So now, Sophie, being that you jumped from from short film directing now to a feature length film, how did it make you feel on upon taking this project? You did mention that you were nervous, but throughout the process while filming the film and everything, that you felt more empowered, that you feel ready for your next upcoming endeavor, or if they provide or if they present you a new project that is another feature film.
I was extremely nervous. Yeah, but I was ready to do it and just kind of like, ready to just take the leap of faith and trust that I had like a really good team supporting me. I think like a lot of people mistakenly think that the director is like the end all be all on sets, and especially with indie filmmaking, your team is everything. And we had our amazing producer Mary Elizabeth, and an incredible team. My DP, Melina Valdez, and Sakshi Gurnani was my AD. So it was just like this amazing female-led team. Just, I knew they had my back. I was just, you know, although it was like a really scary step, I knew that I had these people who believed in me and I believed in them. So I think, like, you know, that's something that I'm going to take with me on my, for the rest of my career, is like, no matter what next feature I'm working on, I need to have the best team ever, or else it's just not going to happen. So that was something that I hope to work with. It would be amazing if I could just work with that team specifically forever, but
literally.
people move on and move to LA and
Or
other
India.
countries. Or India, yeah. So, but yeah, like, your team is everything. And I feel just, you know, now that I've directed my first feature, I've done my first feature, and the rest is just going to be easier. I mean, who's to say I could do like a crazy genre
Feature
project
from hell.
yeah, and it would be like crazy special effects, but you know, now I have the confidence, you know.
That's great. That's great. So, wanted to ask both of you, were there any challenges upon filming August at 22?
Yes. Honestly, we had this kind of mantra in the beginning because it all happened so easily, seemingly. Like, we wrote the script, and then Mary Elizabeth, our amazing producer, came on board, and it just, everything was just rolling, and we didn't face much like, we didn't face many roadblocks in the beginning, and everything was teed up. And then on the first day of our filming, we lost our main location. Like, we're all set up. And it's Cal's bedroom. So it's like basically a third of our shots are like in Cal's bedroom. So on that first day, the owner of the building came up to Mary Elizabeth, our producer, and was like, "You can't film here." And so we pivoted, and myself and Sophia and Mary Elizabeth and our AD Sakshi and our director of photography Melina, we like sat on a stoop, kicked out of our first location, and we're like, okay, well, what now? Because we have a crew, and what do we do? We've got the next 17 days of shooting to figure out. So we pivoted and wound up shooting it in my real life apartment, which, thank God, my building managers allowed. And then we stole some shots illegally in the hallway and whatnot. That
Yeah, I think
was kind of it, though.
losing our first location was probably the worst case scenario. So honestly, it was all uphill from there.
Yeah.
But I will say, shooting on the streets of New York without a permit and stealing shots. I mean, never mind, not without a permit.
Everything's permitted.
Everything's permitted. But you know, just even just shooting in the streets of New York and the East Village in Manhattan, with all these people walking around, it's like in the middle of summer. There's so much noise. Like, of course, that's a challenge. But I actually think like it just made New York like another character in the movie, and like you know where the story is taking place.
Yeah.
And I think that's like a really special thing that we got with this like kind of guerrilla filmmaking style that we got.
Okay. Yeah, I in one of my interviews, I asked an indie filmmaker, is it better to ask or just record and ask questions later? They always answer the same thing. Just record, and then we worry about what happens next.
Literally.
Yeah.
Ask for forgiveness, not for permission.
Exactly. So, Ali, now I wanted to ask you, I've noticed that your acting career started with the short film Voce, that is directed by Sophia as well, and August at 22. Is this something that you want to continue as in your career, to look for other projects as an actress?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been acting, I mean, pretty much forever. I started as an actor, and then kind of going into college was like, oh, do I study acting, or do I kind of broaden my horizons? And I wound up studying film, which really is not as broad the horizon as I could have. But I guess once you're hooked, you're hooked. So I really, I started as an actor, and I think I'm now kind of going through a mini identity crisis because I love writing so much and I plan on directing as well. So I certainly want to keep acting, but I used to be like actor, writer, and now I'm very much like writer, actor. Um, but I want to be in everything, and I want to do basically anything I find myself passionate about in any kind of, I can pick it. Hopefully I can be like, oh, like I want to act in this one and produce this one and direct this one. And I think actually Sophia is the same way. I think that's why we fit so well as kind of a, I keep saying work wives, but we really do have a marriage in our work. And if Sophia's directing it, then I'll act in it. And if I'm writing it, Sophia's going to act in it. And it's just, and I'll produce anything she does. So we're just constantly finding ourselves switching roles and teeing each other up for things.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
I think like obviously I think both Ali and I want to work with other people and keep expanding our networks.
Yes, of course.
Like just knowing that there's always someone that wants to work with you is really nice, especially in indie filmmaking. It's can be kind of brutal out here, but I don't know, it's kind of like those like legends of indie filmmaking that have those like ensemble casts that have like what's his name, the British filmmaker um Mike Lee, who always worked with like Timothy Spall, and like just they have like a really special partnership. I just think it's kind of similar.
Okay, so I want to ask you both: is there like a particular scene or moment while filming that you guys take to heart till this day?
It's a great question. I really loved it's like one of the last scenes with Bobby's concert. Cal goes, and after they've, had like a break from each other. And we were shooting in the Williamsburg Music Center, which we were so lucky to get that beautiful location.
Gorgeous.
I don't really understand how that worked out for us. But like I don't know, like that was one of the most fun days on set.
Yeah.
It was just like the crew, as we were setting up the shot, we were like putting Beyonce on the loudspeaker and like dancing and singing to Love on Top while we were like waiting for
Everyone.
literally everyone.
We have videos if you're interested.
Yeah, we have so many videos. And it was like that's like also just an emotional scene. It's like there's the comedy of the lyrics in that song, and then also the seriousness of the hurt that Bobby is trying to convey to Cal, and I think her realizing her effect on that person that she loves so much. So that's something that I think about with like all the fun and levity that we had on set, and then the way it looks on camera is just like pretty special and something that I'll hold close to my heart forever.
So, wanted to know what would be the next step for both of you. This is already is going to be available in certain, if I am not mistaken, in the Provincetown International Film Festival. And let me see. And it will be available for TV VOD digital release across all platforms through Gravitas Ventures on July 28th. So what would be the next step for Ali and for Sophia when this already releases for everybody to sit down and enjoy?
Well, Soph and I both have next projects that we're working on. I mean, besides reveling in like the absolute beauty and bliss and joy of finally getting this project out, which was our first. And so it's gonna maybe be my favorite project forever. But next up for me, I'm working on another feature script called Projection Room that I'm really excited to get out there and hopefully shoot next summer, fingers crossed. And Sophia.
Yeah, I also have a feature that I wrote called this is the working title. It's called Living Dead. And I'm hoping to shoot it in like early 2024. we'll see if that actually happens. You know, you always set these dates and then something happens. You lose your first location. um, but that's the ideal timeline, and I'll be directing that and acting in it. So we'll see how that goes.
That's amazing. So one final thought for from each and one of you. I am very pro female empowerment because in this world of Hollywood, there's not that much female directors, or there is a lot of female actresses out there, but sometimes they are set aside due to being female. So I wanted to see if you guys can give your own words to our viewers, if there is any female out there that is on its way to become an actress or a director. What would you say to them right now?
Me first or you first, Sophia?
Whatever you want.
I mean, I would just say keep going, don't stop. My favorite movies are usually female-led stories, and so, the more honest you can be and the more truthful you can be about your own self and your own experience, that's the best art there is to make. So I would just say do it, please, please. I want to watch it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely keep going. And also, like, don't let these weird higher ups tell you no. Like, turn to your community, people around you, other women, other people from underrepresented communities, and lean on each other and make movies together on like
Definitely.
the smallest budget, even if, as long as it just gets made, if it's $1, but everyone's willing to like volunteer their weekend to make something, like, do it and just get it done, and don't take no for an answer, and your story deserves to be told. So do it. Maybe talk to me or Allie or Mary Elizabeth. We could
Yeah.
do have a production company, so let us know.
That's amazing. So where can the people find you guys on social media like that? They can just click follow, and probably somebody will go ahead and write to you, hey, I have this idea, let's see what we
I
can do.
know. Well, we've got a few different Instagrams. So for our production company, it's at Lady Parts Pro, LADYPARTS PRO. And then for our film, it's at August at 22 Film, 22 written out in the words. And then my handle is at Ali Edwards with a Z, and Sophia's.
Mine's just at Sophia Castuera, Castuera, and Sophia with a PH.
Thank you very much, Ali and Sophia, for giving us the time, to talk about August at 22, as well for all of our viewers and or listeners. The film will be available on July 28th in all VOD platforms. So don't miss out. It's an amazing, incredible film. All of their social media will be down below on the description. So thank you very much for giving us your time to speak about the film.
Thank you so much, John.
This is
No, thank
awesome.
you.